Prattle.com presents the Dirty Talk Podcast, your podcast home for all things soap. Welcome to Flipping the Hourglass, a review of Days of Our Lives for the week ending March 8th, 2024. We're your hosts, Angela and Toni.
Hi, Tone. How you doing tonight?
I'm well. It's been a lot of fun in some soaps, and I'm hoping that that's what Days of Our Lives is building up to as well. So let's check out last week and see what we got.
All right. Well, how about let's delve into Everett first.
That's he needs some digging done on him, so
Yes.
fitting.
So the scene with him and Julie at the Horton house
Mm-hmm.
started off pretty funny with the screaming,
Yes.
but that man's definitely up to something, and he knows what it is.
He like if you tell me he's the one who set the fire, I will not disbelieve
Not
you.
doubt in a second.
And the fact that Julie and that actor that actor seems to be her weakness because when he played her like nephew cousin person, she was
Yep.
all into believing in him even when he was at his worst. Now he plays some random stranger and she's still all into believing him at his freaking worst. Man,
Mm-hmm.
I need you to check into getting some help or whatever because what the hell is this shit?
You're not wrong. But his little grin at the end of those scenes was. Mm. And then we had Marlena,
Because she's
and
my
yeah, and she's definitely suspicious. Her spidey senses are tingling. And
they
she wants to hypnotize him, and he's like agreeing to it, but he's not loving that idea.
at all.
And
That's when it's all going to really start to come to a head.
yes, and I think his claims about not remembering his father are probably not true.
Agreed.
Um, and he was definitely not happy to see Stephanie and Chad hugging,
Yeah, that one
no
pissed.
matter how innocent it was. Which it was weird, Julie bringing up him looking like Nick,
Yeah, it
because usually soaps ignore that stuff.
they do. I was like, and I don't think
So
he looked like her, but that he reminded her, which was not a good thing to be reminded because, like, ma'am,
yeah,
you
yeah.
remember how you? Okay,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but either way, it's a little. Are we going to find out that he was held somewhere and like brainwashed into thinking he was this Bobby Everett guy?
Mm,
And then that he really is somehow been brought back to life and brought back to harass Gabby, but is like Nick. But
yeah.
why is nobody else noticing that they are in
Right.
resemble each other if that's the case? Because like there's plenty of people in town who still would remember him, Chad being one of them.
Right. And I mean,
That was just like a little nod to the fans
yeah,
or what?
I wouldn't love it
Mm-hmm.
because they brought dead Nick back during the devil possession story.
Yeah.
But I suppose they could just say that was the devil playing games. I mean, it was a devil possession story, so I guess we don't need realism in it. But no continuity needed for a devil possession story. But it seems, I don't know. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know.
Well, all you'd have to do is potentially no, that wouldn't work either. Never mind.
Well,
I
he
don't
had scenes
know.
with Gabby when he first got to town. They ran into each other in the square. They did the wink, wink, nod, nod thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't
Maybe
know. I think,
because Gabby and Julie were kind of the two most close
yeah.
to him outside of Abigail. So
Hmm.
having to do the nods, there's most of the characters he would do the nods with aren't around. There's no
Yep.
Sammy. There's Kate is focused on Lucas off in that monastery, which we can probably hit next. All
Hmm.
of the characters he would normally do the wink and nod with are like otherwise unavailable or not in town at
Hmm.
all. So I guess it makes sense that he did it with who he could.
Right.
And the Chad that he worked off of wasn't this Chad, was it? I
I
think
don't
it
even
was
know.
the original Chad.
Was it? I honestly don't remember.
Yeah,
That
I
was.
think this Chad came in shortly after Nick
Mhm.
died.
Mhm.
Because if I remember correctly, this Chad didn't show up until yes, Nick was already dead by the time this Chad showed up. This Chad showed up because the old Chad had left town. And when he came
Mhm.
back, it was with the new face and harassing Ben and Abigail.
Right.
But Nick was already dead by then.
Right.
So yeah, they don't have that history for them to do the wink wink nod with.
Right.
Characters do,
So
but the actors don't. So I feel like that's because these are the only two characters he can like actors on screen that he's been able to really do that with.
yeah, that makes sense. But hopefully we get some hints about what he's up to soon. But
That would be nice.
you know,
That hopefully some of it will come out in the midst of
yes.
the hypnosis.
Hmm.
Um, and then of course we had, as I mentioned, Kate and Roman off to the monastery in easily the worst. Like,
Costume. I mean, that hat was just, but I mean, it's Kate. What did
yeah,
did anybody expect
Kate,
anything else?
Kate,
Yeah.
we do not want them to know it's you. That's the
Right.
goal. The goal is for them not to know it's you.
Right. And
Roman,
not notice you
well,
as
Roman
well.
might have been able to pass and been completely ignored. But
But
Kate,
Kate with the, yeah.
big floppy hat, which was something that came out of the back of her closet because this is something she would absolutely wear,
Hmm.
supposed to look unexpected, something that we would not expect from you. Wear like a nun's habit or something, but not like a big floppy beach hat. Like, what are you doing, lady? Do you
Right. It
want to
was,
find your son?
yeah, it was crazy. And I like Lucas, but he was really fucking annoying.
I feel like Lucas has not been Lucas without Sammy.
I mean, it
I've
was better than Statesville, right?
yeah,
And he's supposed to be hiding, and all
yeah.
he can do is complain about being there. Well, then, take your
Your fault in the
chances, I
first
guess,
place
dude.
for
Right?
not keeping the secret of where you fucking
Right.
were.
He told the newspapers. My God, Kate's son should be smarter. Kate and Victor's son should be smarter than this.
I swear to God, I don't know. Like, well, the Kate angle, she has a cross between being very smart at times and very dumb because of her like ego. So it's believable that maybe the Kate side of her would make her a little dumber, but the Victor side should cancel some of that out.
Right?
And I'm just like, you know what it is? The problem is that they started calling you a Horton. They told you that your blood was a Horton, and it basically washed out any common sense you had. And I don't appreciate it.
Well, that tracks, I guess. Ugh.
Hortons are supposed to be so good that they're green, and I don't understand that logic,
Well,
but
what did they say in Spaceballs? What is evil always wins because good is dumb?
I mean, if we're going by the Hortons, then yeah.
Right.
Like I don't know how they've survived this long, because my God. Speaking of the Hortons, we had a cleanup at their house besides the one where
Hmm.
Everett and Julie bonded over him having no past.
Yes.
So that happened.
Yep, it
Clean
did.
up, clean up, everybody everywhere. Clean up, everybody do your share. And then that was where the hug was seen by Everett
Mhm.
after his appointment with Marlena. And there
Yep.
was a little bonding moment between Chad and what's her face? I really just
Stephanie.
that quickly. She is that ooh name?
Stephanie.
Stephanie. Yes. What's crazy? People used to tell me I look like a Stephanie when I was younger. So it's crazy that I cannot remember her name to save my life. That is
Yes.
not good. Okay, but I digress. So there was a
Yeah.
cute moment there. Um, Stephanie seems to be processing the situation with Everett, but
Mhm.
one good thing that I do enjoy about her is she's a thirsty thought and she bounces from, boing a boing to boing a boing. So,
Yes.
she might be bouncing back to Chad's boing a boing soon, so that should be fun.
Hmm.
So the talk about the
I don't.
kitty was like turned me off a whole lot because like, thanks. Let's talk about the fun times I had being your kid's like nanny stepmom person. No, let's talk about the hot nights in bed. Do you not have any to offer? Like, what is this? A
Look.
soap or a
Yeah.
nunnery? Like, well, with the cape and the Roman at the monastery, I guess that would
Yeah.
be.
Right. Exactly. Lucas is like, that's what I'm saying.
Why do I laugh like that? Do not ask. It happened.
Yeah. Right. I make you giggle. We know this.
This is
All
true.
right. So Kate and Holly.
Yeah.
Holly knows that she's the one who took the drugs, but she's
Uh-huh.
pretending she doesn't remember it. But she also wants to get Kate out of trouble, but not enough to give herself up.
Run, Tate, run.
Yeah, and poor Tate's still locked up.
Yeah. He needs to be
Mom Teresa fired Justin, hired Sloan.
a bit more of a shark. Look, I respect it.
Yeah,
You
but
need a
then
shark to go after a shark. And Justin's a
yes,
guppy
and then
with a terrible winning, like with no winning streak whatsoever.
yeah,
What's the last case he won that wasn't actually done for him? There you go. She's smart. She wants her kid to actually be saved from prison.
yes,
So,
yes. Although Sloan was suggesting a plea bargain,
which is,
yeah.
mm,
But then she's going to, file the motion against EJ for disqualification because of bias, which he shouldn't even have to do because in real life, there's no way the stepfather of the victim would be prosecuting the case, no matter how small this town was. But
literally,
okay.
I'm like, that was the most ridiculous thing ever, especially considering his record. How does he even get a license, a law license at all? How does he get a law license? How does he get to the job at the DA? How does he get and like, my God, my God. And considering he just got Stefan to hand over all his assets to EJ in exchange for help, that was he's got nerve thinking someone else is slimy.
It's really funny too with Stefan saying that father would be disappointed, and EJ's like, father would think this is brilliant. And I think EJ's right.
He is. Stefano would have done it first.
Absolutely. Stefano's smiling up at his son right now.
He is. He's like,
So,
this is what I taught you, boy. Good job.
my boy, exactly.
And
Um,
say something. I'm gonna say something, and some people are not gonna love hearing this, but I'm just gonna go ahead and do it.
okay.
I will never accept this guy as Stefan. I know that the actual Stefan will never be able to come back into the role,
Mhm.
but he left such an indelible mark on the role that I just can't see it.
Mhm.
Like he added a certain level of sophistication. Like he did some like bumbling dumbass shit during
Yeah.
his time as Stefan, but he also seemed smart and a little savvy in some ways. And this one doesn't have any of that. It just feels like kind of like wish Johnny Sakara pretending to be a child of a Demira. And I'm like, that's
Johnny Zakara would never have that mustache. Carly would never allow it.
maybe after Carly dumped him, he might.
No, she'd be like, no man that I ever slept with will ever look this bad. Sorry.
That might be why he comes off as a wish Johnny to the car, even though he's the same guy who played it. But I digress. But like it's not giving what it's supposed to have gave under the Demera umbrella.
Mhm.
Like a
Yeah.
Demera is supposed to have something of a presence, especially when your name is Stefan Octavius Demera. Like you have this badass, powerful, strong name, and you are weak and bland and ugh. Like I haven't been able to get with it for this one since the very beginning. Like, because one of the things that I liked about the old Stefan was the bromance between him and Ben Weston.
Mhm.
As soon as this one took over, he started treating him like an employee more than a friend. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's no fun because like I like the fact that the two outcasts had come together to create a bromance. It kind of gave a good vibe, right?
Right.
Like so I just had to get that out because I really don't ever talk about it because I don't want to step on toes or be disrespectful. But I do feel like this was a failed experiment, and I'm okay if they decide to end the experiment now.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening. But my thing with, I mean, I like EJ, but honestly,
EJ wasn't even my issue, but yeah, okay.
the children most like Stefano are his daughters. Kristen and Megan are the brains in that family.
Yeah. They're the only true Damaras left.
Right. They're like, the yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
but there used to be a certain edge to EJ, and now it's kind of like a great actor,
Hmm.
handsome guy, but where is that aura of a Damara that the Damaras used to have? Only the girls have it now.
Yeah. I mean, I never get it with Stefan,
Hmm.
but I do get it with EJ. But then he's, again, he's just dumb. And it's
Yeah,
easy
it
to pull
comes
one
and
over on.
goes for EJ. It does.
Yeah.
It comes and goes. There are moments where I'm like, okay, that's a Damara. And then there are
Yeah.
moments where I'm like, are we sure that's a Damara?
And a lot of the times with Stefan, when he does something smart,
Hmm.
it's Gabby's idea.
Because she's the brains. And how is she the
Right.
brains? My God. My God, today. But I digress. I say all that to say womp womp. Um, uh,
Now, speaking, since we're just doing Sloan
mhm,
and Tate, he stole mommy's phone
mhm.
and was messaging Holly
Because that's
from Teresa's accounts. And Teresa's like, well, that's weird. Creeper mom messaging me. No, I'm good. Now I'm wondering though if those messages are going to be found later and people are going to think that like Teresa's trying to intimidate Holly
because that would go great.
into
Like I'm
clearing
just
her
like
son.
Tate is very much living down to Brady's legacy
Oh, yes.
because he's
God, yes.
and dumb, and
I
it's
guess
just
really
like
it's just a men on this show are dumb thing and the women are a lot smarter.
every once in a while, like I feel like there's exceptions that prove the rule, but yeah,
I mean, yeah, for
John
right
tends
now,
to be smart.
it's just they're all stupid.
John tends to be smart, but I don't know if these strike writers know how to write a smart man. I don't know if they've ever met one or they can like dream that big. So they just, it's not giving. Speaking of Sloan, also, Leo babysat Jude. And can I just say that was my highlight for like an episode? I was like, why is that so freaking cute? The costumes,
I so want Eric to hire Leo as their nanny.
please, 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 please.
And Leo would be a great Manny. You know what I mean? And he'd so call
What?
himself that as well.
He would. You
And
can
then,
get rid of Sloan altogether and just let Leo
right,
stay.
or get Dimitri back and they can do it together because
Oh
they
my
would be
God.
hysterical doing it together.
Ooh, let them raise baby Jude. Oh,
I
I love
need
that.
Leo.
Maybe their
I
little
need Dimitri
baby.
back.
I agree. Bring Dimitri back for Leo. He deserves happily love. He deserves love and a happily ever after and a
Yeah.
big piece of man meat because that's his favorite flavor.
And and Dimitri is a very pretty piece of man meat.
He
Peter
is.
Forte is, and I interviewed him, and I got to tell you, on Zoom, even with no makeup, he's even more. I just like, my God,
Oh wow.
yeah,
Drops robe from shoulder and shimmies.
exactly. I turn into Miss Hannigan from Annie. Want some bathtub gin, baby? No.
Right?
Anyway, I'm a
Also,
little punch drunk this
Jude,
night tonight. Apparently.
it looks like Nicole will be throwing Jude's christening, which is a choice that's being made.
And Leo, I think that's a great. He's such a bitch. Just
He
totally
is the
pulling
worst
that up.
and the best
Yeah.
all. Same time. I love him. I love
Yeah,
him harassing Sloane because if I was in this
it's
situation, I would fucking be Leo so hard.
God. I'd
I would
be
be Leo his
so, and of
and be
course, Eric
obviously.
is so dumb. Speaking of dumb men,
Oh my God. I mean, he's the men on the show are himbos across the board.
yeah, yeah. Good thing they're pretty.
That's all they got going for them.
We also had Nicole and Brady's dust up
Yes.
about
I
Holly and Tate,
totally
and that's
understand. I kind of understood both sides of it.
absolutely they're
I
fighting
did.
for their kids.
Yeah. But, I appreciated Nicole softening towards the end and
Mhm.
realizing that they were being a bit too much of a hard ass
Right.
under the circumstances.
I
But
mean,
what I
no
need
one's
her to
being
do is to take a
devious
look at
in
her
this.
her lion ass daughter and see
Yeah.
herself
Well,
being
that's the thing.
reflected back at her.
Yeah. It's just with the parents, they're all intentioned well, except for EJ, because he knew Stefan had warned him,
Mhm.
and he knew and acted the ass and
Wait,
wouldn't
so he
help. And
reacted
then,
to Kate even knowing that it wasn't him who gave him the drugs?
well, I'm trying to remember if he knows that or not.
Because I'm trying to remember, and I didn't think he knew, but now you're saying it in a way that made it sound like he knew. I'm
I
like,
don't know if he knows that Tate, but what I'm saying is he knew there was a drug issue. And he knew because Stefan went to him for help with the situation with Clyde. So he knew there was a way in to solve this before Holly. So, and he's keeping that secret, which I think is one of the reasons he's so eager to get rid of
mm.
Stefan. I keep calling him that. It's the GH days. Anyway, so
When I see that name, I
is
think Stefan as well because,
yeah,
you know, it's a much more impactful character.
yeah, and it's a more regal name, I think, too.
Yeah,
So it should be Stefan, right?
you
Because
think.
it was Stefano.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Stefan O. Demera.
Right.
When he's played by someone who was regal enough to pull off Stefan Octavius Demera, it was fine. Now you need to do something to actually add some like oomph back into your character. So let's call you Stefan.
Yes.
Hopefully that will get you back on track. Gross. I did I say
Now, oh, go ahead.
no? I didn't mean to say it out loud, so it's good.
All right. So we also had Paulina
My baby Paulina.
doing her will and getting weaker and visiting with her babies. And we had those nice scenes with the sisters and lots of family come togetherness, which I
My
like.
trying to stress me out with my baby Paulina. I love Jackie.
And I like Lonnie saying that her and Eli were going to do their wills as well. And Abe being so sad that he couldn't remember their life together, and he but is telling her that he had fallen back in love with her,
So
and then
sweet.
at the end of the week, as she's slipping away, the angel appears. But
Hmm.
then that's for next week's podcast. What happened next? And I have a lot of thoughts about that, but that'll be what happened next.
Yeah, we'll focus on that
Yeah,
next.
we'll get there next week.
Or
So
this week, actually, because
yes,
yeah.
there's some really great um emotions and stuff in this. I love the family stories and stuff like that. They're needed. And
Yeah.
I like, the focus on this one, I think is this family's really great too, because they are, tightly knit, and I like that they're holding each other up.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I will say about the Carvers is when given a true opportunity, they can give you family story that
Mhm.
really connects with you. Between, Lonnie's miscarriage or not Was it considered a miscarriage? Because she had him so close to, no, I think it was still considered a miscarriage at that point. Um, and then there was, they're them falling in love with, Ilani and then having their
Mhm.
babies and then all of the drama with losing them and all of the times when they needed to come together, thinking that,
Mhm.
they lost Abe and then finding him and all this. Every time when they need to come together, they find this they've done a brilliant job with choosing the actors they've chosen because
Yeah.
they always are able to really show that bond and make it
Hmm.
believe. Like I believe
Hmm.
this is a family who genuinely
Yes,
cares about each other and will hold each other
absolutely.
and values each other, good, bad, and indifferent.
Hmm.
They see each other for who they are, but they love each other for who they are.
Yep.
And I really appreciate that about the connection, that the bond that they've
Hmm.
created in this Carver Price family.
I agree. And Paulina teasing Chanel about grandbabies when she like got married 5 seconds ago.
I love that. That was
On
hilarious.
her deathbed, still gonna do it. That was total mom.
Absolutely. That was mom to the nth degree.
Exactly. She's like,
And then
mom,
the
that's like prime mom guilt time.
perfection. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was handled really
exactly.
well. And then the other main story, the kind of catch-all story that's been happening in the background this week, has been involving the drug story line with Clyde and Harris and Rafe and Ava and so on and so forth, and Trip and Wendy.
And okay,
So
we'll start with Sarah and Victoria visiting Xander.
yeah.
Sarah is
I'm gonna
standing
put that
by
one
her
second,
man.
but we can go there.
What?
But yeah, I was gonna put that second, but yeah, we can
Oh,
go there.
okay.
Sarah and Victoria visited Xander. Sarah let Xander know that Harris has not yet confirmed that he is not the one who shot him. Which fuck you very much, Harris. I've been rooting for you this whole time, and you're letting this innocent man sit in fucking jail knowing good and damn well who shot you, and he got a whole baby at home and a wife, and you just gonna let him sit his ass in jail. And what happens if somebody shanks Xander in jail because your bitch ass wanna wait and not tell the truth? Get that
Okay,
man.
true. But how much time should Xander have sat in jail and did? It's kind of like the scales are balancing a little bit for Xander, karmically.
Okay, that you make a valid point.
Points were made.
There are
And we
many
know
that
he's
his
going to
ass
be
could have.
cleared. And this is actually good for him and Sarah because she's standing by him and she believes him and he's not lying.
True.
So their relationship kind of needs this after, everything else they've been through.
I mean, valid.
Yeah.
I get. Still side eyeing you. Although Harris did come up and cough up the goods about Goldman,
Mm-hmm. He did.
however, not in time for them to catch Goldman.
Well, of course not. But, Clyde telling Ava she has to break him out of Statesville. And she's just like, the hell? Prison break? He's like, all your family.
Could we not?
She's
I
like,
just
it's
want to. I
kind of
just want to get
awkward to
for
call my
like
family. So instead, she called Black Patch.
Yep. That's so.
So I love John and Steve, but when they are in PI mode, do you know who they remind me of?
No,
You ever watch SpongeBob?
not really. No, the laugh kills me. I can't stand his old
There
laugh.
is a geriatric super couple or superhero pairing.
Oh, I've heard of the. I've
Something
seen
and
that.
Barnacle Boy. Can't remember, but they're like really, really old.
I've seen some clips of that. Oh my gosh, no. Poor
Never be able to
John.
unsee it now.
Poor
And I love John and Steve, but this is the vibe it gives me when they are in, PI mode and they're planning things and they're seriously. I'm sorry. Have I ruined it for you?
No, I mean I don't watch the show. I don't watch SpongeBob enough to actually have it ruined. But my poor
Okay.
John, I've seen enough of it to know that you've got the like wrinkly little Robin character, and then you've got the
Mhm.
wrinkly like old Batman-y. Can John be the Batman one?
Yeah, I suppose John would be, yeah, probably John would be the Batman-y one.
Okay, at least give me that because I can't.
Yeah.
That's
Steve can be Barnacle Boy.
fine. That's fine.
Okay. So they have a plan and
Oh,
they want to
a
take
man with a
Clyde
plan.
and what?
I said, oh yay, a man with a plan.
Yeah. And their plan is they're going to take Clyde and they're going to get the information out of him. They'll
Mm.
break him out of Statesville, but they're going to get he's not walking free. And Ava's like, this is not what we agreed upon.
Hmm.
And, again, the women are kind of smarter than the men. So, she had a backup plan and stopped them from taking Clyde to shake him down for information. However, she sent her henchmen to take them away, and Clyde's so disgusting, friend. Oh, God. I'm sorry. I have no problem with May December romances. I really, really don't. But that man having that young girlfriend is disgusting. The character.
Is she like not 19 or something on the show?
Well, she's a cop. So, I mean, she,
I thought
has,
she was
she's
fresh out of like
right. She's a young
academy.
cop and he was a pedophile. It's
That just I forgot.
not
How
good
did I black that
optics.
out? I had
Yeah,
blacked that out because oh my gosh, this
right?
accent, everything
They
about
can't be putting him with a young girl like that.
except that it's very much in character. He's an
I
unrepentant
know, but
freak.
ugh,
He's a
I
bad
don't like
guy.
it.
I feel like they're going to try to go the passions route with him and have him be like what's his face? What was his name? Julian's dad.
Yeah, Julian. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Alistair
I can't.
Crane, where he
Hollister
was just
Crane.
the worst of the worst in every way. I feel like that's what they're trying to do. And it might just
Well,
like because
they're
it's the
getting there.
but I'm like,
I was wondering because, the actress has posted about loving, being on days and, her character sticking around, but I don't know if she meant longer than this arc because it was like at the beginning of this arc.
yeah.
But I was wondering if they were going to try to use that to redeem her, but then they had her, Trip and Wendy
Mm.
locked in the brewery thing or the saw bathroom, as my Days for Dummies co-host calls it. And, Clyde told her to take care of them. So she went and
Locked
closed the
them in there
vents.
and let the air dwindle out, and they were stressing me the fuck out. How are
Well,
such
here's my
smart
thing.
people doing the dumbest thing ever and hyperventilating in a tank where the air is being cut off?
Okay, here's the thing though. After watching their imaginary vacation,
Mhm.
I wanted to close the air vents.
Is it okay if I admit to the fact that I kind of zoned out and don't remember anything about their imaginary vacations?
Oh, you missed them pretending to go to Italy and eat pasta and comment on the sauce and then climb up the leaning tower of Pisa, and the stairs were narrow and it was she's afraid of heights, and it was like 17 flights and
Can you, is there, what would it take to stop you? Because I
closing the air vents.
because like,
It's what it took
I
on the
don't
show.
feel like Goldman's that much of a bad guy at the moment. Like,
Right. She was
he's
putting
more
us all out of our
than they
misery.
are. So like, I'm actually hearing you say it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's boring when she says it. It must have been worse when they said it. No wonder I zoned out.
It was so, and I'm like, Days couldn't have even sprung to like give them like imaginary backgrounds or something. I don't know. It was just, it was
They could have done that thing where the Zoom
Yeah,
makes
no,
you think
choices were
that comes
made.
from you. But
Choices
no,
were made, none of them were good.
agreed.
And
Another incredible idea that they came up with was to get married because she wanted to get married someday, and now someday will have to be now. After Trip finally told her to stop hyperventilating all the air out of the room.
yeah, so they got married. So here's my question.
Mm-hmm.
After, if they survive this, hopefully they do, and they break up, do they have to get divorced? Do they have to get imaginary divorce? Does she, she's a doctor. Does she get that alimony?
I mean, not a terrible
But
idea.
also, I mean, we won't know until next week if they survive. But what if their hearts stop and then they're brought back? Would that invalidate it because death had happened? So many questions.
I thought I was
So
messing.
many questions.
You win. That shit's so petty. Oh my gosh, you petty asshole. I love it. I love it.
This is what they're here for, right?
I guess.
I hope so. Otherwise, we're screwed.
Yeah, look, whip is not my cup of tea. It's not. Wep is Jesus Wep. Um,
And that's true.
and they did have a talk about religion and
Mhm.
theology, and they somehow made it boring for me.
Here's the thing, though. Also,
I need Wendy to find an older man, not Clyde, not Clyde, but I need her to find an older man, somebody who can like bring out the vivacious side of her and not make her seem like an old married couple at the age of 22 or something.
yeah.
Because it's a lot. And Trip, I need somebody to turn him out. Because what the hell is this shit?
You know who
Turn
he should have an
me
affair with?
out.
Kate or Kayla?
Not Kate. We're not having Kate have any more affairs. You're trying to kill me. Um,
I'm just saying.
I've actually rooted for Kayla and Trip on multiple occasions, and people have treated me like I was insane for
It's
it.
a soap opera. It's soapy.
They have more chemistry together than either of them have with his on-screen father.
Yeah.
That's what I
Oh,
said.
I don't know. I think Kayla has
I
good
said what I
chemistry
said.
with Steve. I know what you said. I disagree with you, but I think it would be fun and soapy.
And then when
Um,
you know what? We can get Rob Scott Wilson's character, whoever he's playing this week, drunk, and he can give wake Wendy up, like get her interesting and alive, and maybe put a baby in her since she's so determined to someday have a kid.
hold on. You'd think he has to be drunk?
No, not
He's
necessarily.
like the number one himbo man whore.
Not necessarily, but like she's boring enough that he might need to be.
Hmm. Although I have a new crack ship for him, for Alex.
Oh, you do? Who? Ben Weston? No, I'm kidding.
That'd be weird. Kristen.
Oh, yeah, I heard that that's a possibility coming down the pike.
I don't know that it's a possibility, but the sparks are sparking. They're not playing it that way, but it's just like naturally happening.
He's like that with older women.
Yeah.
There was some inappropriate chemistry with Marlena and him early on in the Ben years.
Yeah.
Less so now as Alex, but in the Ben years, I would be like, are you supposed to be with Sierra or Marlena? Can we have a conversation, sir? Turn that where you're supposed to be keeping that. Because
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
having me have thoughts. Also, Ben Weston and Sammy Brady was my crack ship,
Hmm. That
especially after
doesn't surprise
he held
me.
that gun on him to try and choke. I was like, why is her holding a gun on him while he chokes Will, giving me threesome ideas that I should not be having about a
Right?
mother? What is
Yeah,
happening?
it's
Why are you so deviant to be doing this to me?
well, Sammy Brady. What are you gonna do?
I mean, she's hot, and he was
She is
hot,
hot.
And the
Yeah.
entire intensity and intense energy just made me want him to hook up with both of them. I'm sorry. He made Will
It's
come.
okay. It's okay.
It's like, I need you to be a bisexual butterfly real quick. Hook up with
Real
Will and
quick.
with
Just real
Toni.
quick. Just a drunk thing.
Yeah.
You can pretend you don't remember it.
You can say that you were like hopped up on the adrenaline of the moment,
Right.
and so you were told to choke him, and you just started to kiss him, and you didn't realize
Mm-hmm.
what happened. And when she yanked you off, you thought that meant it was her turn.
Mm-hmm.
The adrenaline totally went to your head. It's fine.
But I mean, Wendy and Trip have fans. Every ship has fans. They're not my cup of tea, but that's
Look,
the brilliance of soaps, is that there's something
webfans,
for everyone, including people who like
I would like to
boring,
apologize.
boring.
Web fans, I'd like to apologize to you now. This is not for me. If it's for you, I'm happy that you're getting content. I'm happy that you got a wedding in a brewery thingy.
In the
Flip
saw
up.
bathroom.
Yeah. Um, I'm happy for you if that is what makes you happy. I can promise you it'll never be what makes me happy, but if it's for you, then it's for you. And we'll just agree to disagree and have fun with the soap.
As my mama used to say, there's an ass for every seat.
Sometimes there's not even an ask for the seat.
Just an ass or just a seat.
That's
Okay.
the well, no, because some people are born without booties, and they
That's
still
true.
gotta lay down or sit down on a rolling facility to get where they're going and such. So
Okay. This is getting weird.
getting,
Very true.
but it's gay.
Anyway,
So you kind of had to expect that it was gonna go a direction at some point.
and it did.
Yes, it
It
did.
absolutely did.
110% did.
Anyway, I think we covered Days of Our Lives for the week
Any
of March 8th,
fourth through the
4th,
eighth.
sorry, 4th through the 8th.
Mm-hmm. Any final thoughts for the episode or the week?
Um, I need more Harrison Ava. I'm looking forward to next week. I don't really have tons of thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts about, the week we're going to be doing next, but um no, not tons right now. I mean, we kind of covered it all, I think.
This week was they had some good family emotional moments.
Hmm.
They had some good messy interludes. This felt like very transitional as a week.
Yeah.
So it was hard to get like really pumped for anything that was happening in it.
Yeah.
Um, so hopefully next week it's a little bit more meaty.
We're also still very much in the scab era
Yeah.
with Days, but we're kind of coming out of the Alar part of it. Some of it's after he left, some of it while he was still there. So it's like a mix. So there's going to be a lot of transitional stuff, but I
Okay.
think we got some good stuff ahead.
All right. Well,
So,
I'm always looking forward to more soap. So
mhm,
first and
absolutely.
foremost, we want to thank you for coming and listening to us ramble about soap operas. This
Absolutely.
has been our review of Days of Our Lives. This podcast will always be called Flipping the Hourglass. It's our weekly podcast. You can find all of our podcasts on Patreon .com// Petty Prattle podcast. And if you are a patron, the first four of our Laundry Day podcasts for the core four soaps are free to you. But if you want a 1 day early access to any of our other podcasts, you'd have to pay the $5 make me holla tier, and then you can get 1 day early access to any of our exclusive content. There's going to be more as time goes on. For now, it's the podcasts, but as things get interesting, and we've been hearing some spoilers about some things, we may be able to drop them on our Patreon, give you guys a little secret access, early access to our content. And we've got some other things that we've got planned for the future, like patron only Zooms and things like that. So as time goes on, we plan to build that up for you. $5 make me holla. Come join us, and we will do our best to make you holler. So far, I want to say that we have 3 whole members, but 2 of them on the paid track. Now, they're GH fans. We'll announce them on the next podcast,
Mhm.
which is time for your appointment. But we just, if you're a Days fan, this is your chance to be a part of the party. Um,
Absolutely.
there are other places that you can find us, Angie.
Um, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, and iTunes, everywhere you can find your podcasts. And of course, we also have our website, pettyprattle.com, your home for all spoilers, news, recaps, opinion pieces, polls, all kinds of interactive content. And we have some really great interactive opportunities coming because we're not just building a website, we're building a community.
But this has been the Flipping the Hourglass podcast. We had so much fun chit chatting and talking and, going over the week with you. And we hope to see you back next week. For all of you, this has been our beautiful Angela.
And our gorgeous Toni.
And we really appreciate all your time. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.